So the Meath Miners yesterday won their first All-Ireland minor football title since 1992 with a 1-point victory over Tyrone. The scoreline finished Meath 112, Tyrone 111. I was flying back from holidays yesterday, so I didn't get to see the game, but I watched the game this morning and I thought, you know what, let's make a quick video on this, reviewing the game, talking about it in further detail. And I suppose talking a bit about Meath because, as a Dublin man, there's nothing more I like to do, which is go and give the Royals a credit after an All-Ireland final victory. I'm just joking. But look, listen, fantastic win for Meath. And do you know what? I was kind of surprised by looking at a lot of news reports and different things saying, oh, Tyrone, heavy favourites beaten by Meath, and this is a huge shock and a huge surprise and whatnot. I mean, look, listen, maybe it might be a surprise in terms of, okay, it's the first time that Meath have won an All-Ireland at minor level since 1992. It's been quite a long time, and obviously they've came close a couple of times, but certainly, by all accounts, Tyrone are probably in most people's eyes the bigger county in terms of what players they produced over the past 10 to 15 years or so. But personally, I actually saw Meath coming into this game as favourites because for me, Meath were the side that won the Leinster title last year and won the Leinster title again this year. Completely blew Dublin out of the way, out of the waters in that minor game. And, look, listen, I'm not going to compare the Dublin Miners with the seniors. I don't think it's the same level of victory or anything like that. But the way they done it was super, super impressive. And they're an extremely physical team. Like, the way they tackle, the way they press on the ball, the way they work so hard, and they're built very, very well. Like, physically for a minor team, you'd love to know what they're eating because they look like a very, very physical team and a very well in shape team, no doubt about it. So, and obviously beat Sligo, and look, fair enough, Sligo gave them quite a big battle in that semi-final, and Sligo stuck with Meath, and it was a tough one for Meath because Meath were probably going into that game as the side very much expected to win. Sligo done what, they won a Connacht championship for the first time in 40 odd years. It was obviously a huge achievement for Sligo. Whereas Meath had won the Leinster title the season previous anyway. But look, listen, they came into this Tyrone game and well deserved of the victory. I mean, one thing we've seen from this Meath minor side last year in the Leinster Championship, this year as well against Sligo, and in the Leinster Championship at different stages as well, is that they always keep fighting. They never lie down. They never give up. They keep battling, and that's something that will really impress sort of the Meath senior management side and Meath under 20 coaches and whatnot when they see some of the players coming through, the likes of Sean Emanuel and Oisin O'Murcu and Hughie Corcoran and players like that who just show tremendous amount of desire and passion to get Meath back into the game because, it was looking early on that Tyrone were going to run away with it. I mean, they led 1-3 after just 9 minutes. Ronan Donnelly, obviously, just after the break, they lost him, of course, through injury. So, I mean, there was a massive chance there for Tyrone to really kick on and potentially go on and win the game. 1-3 points. They certainly started the brighter. But you'd have to say Meath done very, very well. The likes of Liam Kelly, Thomas Corbett as well, Sean Emanuel, really, really just dragging Meath back into the game. And Sean Leonard looks like a very impressive player for Meath as well. Very good at dictating the play, finding a few players around him and kicking a couple of points when they needed to as well. Meath just gradually sort of found their way back into the game. They started kind of slowing the tempo down, and Tyrone's tactic of sort of carrying the ball into the opposition half was probably stopped very well by the Meath defence, you'd have to say, and they certainly had a lot of joy at overturning Tyrone. And I think the turnovers was very, very impressive. And, Meath just slowly started turning the lead around, slowly started kicking points as well. And just looking through some of the scores for Meath in particular, like Oisin O'Murcu with 1-2, Hughie Corcoran with 3, Sean Leonard with 2 points, who was very, very impressive. I mean, Liam Kelly was brilliant for Meath as well. No doubt about it in defence. But I think Sean Leonard was probably my man of the match. I just thought he was very impressive hitting a couple of points and just sort of, being that link man that we see with a lot of senior teams. We see that with the likes of Kieran Kilkenny and Paddy Clifford with Kerry, and we're even seeing it with Tyrone. Matty Donnelly tends to do that quite a lot as well. And Sean Leonard was that link man. He was picking out Oisin O'Murcu when he needed to, Hughie Corcoran as well. Impressive stuff. And the Meath goalkeeper as well, Oisin McDermott, we see with modern day football and senior football, you need a goalkeeper that can kick from distance. You need a goalkeeper that can hit long range points, maybe from 45s, or potentially even pick out a man from 60 yards from your own kick out. And Oisin McDermott was brilliant at that. Hit 2 points, both of them from 45, so that was very impressive stuff. He was brilliant. Sean Emanuel as well. This guy looks like a super impressive player for Meath, and certainly looks like a player to watch out for in the future. And even looking through some of the other players as well, you had Conor McQueenie, who had a point, and Jack Hinlow hit a point as well. I suppose for Tyrone, look, listen, be disappointment for them. I'm sure after the fact their senior team went out and beat Kerry, this will all be forgotten about, and no one will really think too much about losing this game, because I think all the focus will now go on winning a senior All-Ireland. And look, listen, a senior All-Ireland is your bread and butter. That's the most important thing at the end of the day. Winning this minor title would have just been a bonus for Tyrone, there's no doubt about it. Cormac Devlin with 1-1, very impressive start of the game, very fast, obviously got that early goal. And Tyrone really did come flying out of traps in this game. And I think, because what we have seen with Meath is they've started games very well. Like against Dublin, they blew them out of the water really, really well. A couple of other games in the Leinster Championship as well, they started very fast. So I think with Tyrone, that was kind of a key tactic for them, is just let's go out, hit them hard, really run at them, create a number of problems for the Meath defence, and then we've something to hold on to. Tyrone were playing a sweeper as well, so I'm sure they had it in mind to really defend that lead. But like what we were saying before, Meath were just very, very patient. They didn't rush their chances, and that's kind of something that impresses me the most about this Meath side, is that they never panicked. And I think for minor teams, and sometimes you see with under 20 teams as well, if you fall 4 or 5 points behind, that gap is almost bigger at minor and under 20 level, in my opinion. Mainly because, okay, fair enough, you've 10 minutes less, first of all, and I think as well, like the quality just isn't quite there to be hitting points from 30 to 40 yards like a senior team would, for example, to go and get back into the game. So the fact that they were so patient and they just waited for the right opportunities, they waited until Hughie Corcoran got himself in good positions, Oisin O'Murku as well, and obviously Sean Leonard on a couple of occasions as well, was very, very impressive. And like what I was saying, Liam Kelly with some of the turnovers in the second half, he dealt with Tyrone's attack and play very, very well, I thought, and he was impressive. I suppose for Tyrone, like I said, Cormac Devlin with 1-1, Ronan Cassidy with 3 points. You had Owen McCallum with with 2 points. You had Rory McHugh with 2 points as well, and Conor Owens, who came off the bench, was impressive for Tyrone, no doubt about it. Hit 2 points, and Hugh Cunningham with a point there for Tyrone as well. And I think all in all, look, listen, it's a huge victory for me to win an All-Ireland minor title at any level is a huge achievement. And as someone commented, I believe, on one of my other videos when I was discussing the Meath minors, I think we were saying how this has been a competition very much dominated by the likes of Kerry. The Munster teams and Ulster teams have had a lot of success down the years as well, so big for a Leinster side to go and win a minor title. And after some of the problems that the Meath under 20s have had, it is good to see that, okay, there is still, Meath are doing a lot right still at underage level. It's just about maybe finding that transition from minor level to under 20s and then to senior level. And look, listen, it will certainly be a number of years before we see these Meath players graduate into the senior team. But it will be interesting to see now, can some of these lads push up into the under 20s when they become eligible, and could Meath maybe challenge for an under 20 title, because we need to see that transition of minor, under 20, seniors, because look, listen, we've seen a lot of sides get underage success before and it hasn't translated. And I think for Meath in particular, with the fact that they do have a good squad of young players in there already, if they can just build a little bit from underneath, there could be exciting times ahead for Meath. Absolutely, they really, really could. And certainly for Tyrone, with the fact, look, Tyrone have a settled team already. They certainly won't be, needing any players anytime soon, by any stretch of the imagination. But it'll be interesting to see as well which some of these players go up into the under 20s and how Tyrone sort of do there moving forward as well. But yeah, look, listen, a huge result for Meath. This was the match reaction anyway after they win their first All-Ireland minor football title since 1992. Huge achievement for Meath. And I suppose onwards and upwards for the Royals. And certainly for Tyrone, look, listen, they'll be focused now on the senior All-Ireland in 2 weeks' time. But for Meath, it was their day yesterday as well as the Tyrone seniors. But for the Meath minors, a huge achievement for them. And onwards and upwards for the Royals.